So small news headline today, very small one, not the biggest one. Obviously, the headlines are being dominated by Brexit and Labour's plan for Brexit and Theresa May's plan for Brexit and whether Theresa May's going to survive a vote of no confidence. One of the small headlines was there was a little shooting last night in North London, in Enfield specifically, that left a couple of people wounded with gunshots. No confirmed dead yet at the point of filming. And inevitably, this is going to bring on, somewhere online, I guarantee you'll find this if you look hard enough, there'll be a debate about gun control, particularly in America, and this will come up. So no doubt someone's going to be saying, well, look at the Brits, look at Britain. They rolled out universal gun control and they're still having shooters. Now, we're not having shooters on the scale of America. Look at Las Vegas. Look at Sandy Hook, look at the Aurora Theatre. These were mass shootings that left tens of people, even more, sometimes hundreds, dead or wounded or affected in some way. Last night's shooting, 2 people had gunshot wounds. 4 people total wounded, 2 with gunshot wounds. So, at the point of filming, obviously. Now, this is going to be, and obviously, as I say, inevitably discussed as, well, the Brits got rid of guns. They're still having gun problems. Now, I don't think I've ever spoken to a gun control advocate who believes that gun control would eradicate completely gun crime. Obviously, of course, that is the ideal situation that we would find ourselves in, getting rid of guns and rolling out gun control would eradicate gun crime. As brilliant as that would be, I don't think gun control advocates are that sort of utopian. I don't think they're that sort of wishful. I think they're quite realistic in that sense. They don't believe that it's going to eradicate gun crime. They just believe that it's going to severely cut it down. And this is exactly what has happened in the UK. And with the exception of Derek Bird and people such as him, we've had a couple of spree shootings, but they're mainly confined to rural country areas where farmers have guns and rifles and things for pests on their land, etc. So we've had a couple of spree shooters. No mass killings since the Dunblane massacre of 1993, where 27 school kids were murdered, I believe, back then in the UK. And after that, that was when the UK rolled out mass gun control, universal gun control. Now, in America, gun control may not work in the same way as it would work in the UK, mainly because the police are so readily armed. The average policeman walking on the street in America, or police officer, if you will, walking on the street in America has a sidearm at least. So with the UK, we don't have that. The most our regular police have is, mace and a baton and some handcuffs and such. They don't have, and taser at most, they don't have guns. Only the specialist trained armed units have weapons of that that are capable of death, capable of murder and killing, So, and I believe, obviously I'm no expert on this, but I believe that obviously those officers, those specially trained armed response units must have to undergo some sort of mental surveillance, some sort of psychological evaluation. I assume so anyway, but that's neither here nor there. We have not had any mass shootings on a scale that America has them. America is having them probably at least once a week, probably even more. So this is why I believe in gun control in the same way that I believe in stop and search to reduce knife crime. It helps. It will cut the type of crime, whether it's gun control will cut guns and knife control will cut knife crime. Knife control? No, stop and search, Jack. Stop and search. Stop and search will reduce knife crime and gun control will reduce gun crime. But it's not a be all and end all. Both solutions, both ideas have their flaws. Namely, the stop and search policy in the UK has the potential to be fundamentally racist in that only primarily young black white boys, get with it, Jack, young black working class boys will be primarily stopped and searched because of the way they look. So not only is it potentially racist, it could be classist and sexist as well, if you want to argue semantics. And with the gun control thing, again, as I say, the regular police officer in America has a gun They're so embedded in American society, and I think this is where the problem lies. Once you've done that, once you've got gun control, once you've got stop and search powers for your police, this is when we need to start looking at the fundamental problems in society that cause gun crime, knife crime. Excuse me. So with America, gun culture, guns are so deeply integrated with their society. They need to do something about this level of guns and this attitude that many Americans seem to have about guns and weapons, and I must carry a gun to defend myself, and all this kind of, especially in the South, they have this kind of thing. So we need to really, really look at that in America. In the UK, we have knife crime, which is a big issue at the moment. Not as big as it has been. They like to tell you that there's record levels of knife crime. In fact, 2005 had many, many more stabbings, fatal stabbings, than 2018. You can look that up. Now, this is a big problem because we have to deal with, yes, of course, we have to deal with preventing people carrying knives in the short term. How do you do that? Stop and search. You have to give the police more powers to stop and search. I grant you this will work. This will cut, at least slowly stem the flow of people carrying knives on a short-term basis. Then you also have to look at the cultural and societal implications and the cultural and societal factors that determine who carries a knife, why they carry knives, what we can do about it. Now, for me, a lot of people are carrying knives for one or two reasons. It's either to protect themselves, because they know people in the area are carrying knives, so they're going to carry a knife to defend themselves from the people who are carrying the knives. Same way people in America are carrying guns, because everyone else around them has a gun. You see, you understand how it works. Self-defense, self-preservation. And the second one is probably less significant in my eyes. It's because it's cool, it's the in thing to do. All their friends are carrying knives, so they're going to carry a knife, etc., etc. For me, the biggest problem we have is poverty, desperation in young, particularly black boys, and there's this sense of, if I get involved with this gang, if I sell these drugs, if I, I've said this before, you have a young black boy who can't pay his bills, someone gives him some drugs, he's going to sell it, and then what's he going to do when he realises that drug dealers are getting shot and stabbed and beaten up? He's going to start carrying. So we need to look at the social impact, particularly the last 8 years of this Tory government and austerity policies, into why young people are carrying knives. We need to examine that. We need to do something. We need to have more social reform projects, more help for these young people by the government and by the local authorities. And rather than thinking they're carrying a knife, we need to punish them. We need to think they're carrying knives. Why are they carrying? Okay, we're going to roll out some plans to stop them carrying knives in the short run, so they don't kill each other, while we take a step back and look at our society again and reevaluate what we need to do to stop this kind of crime happening. Take a look at burglary, for instance. You think people burgle homes for fun? There probably are people who burgle homes for fun, but you think the vast majority of people who burgle homes do it for fun? No, these people need money in the vast majority of cases. Most criminals do it for money. They don't do it because they want to do it, unless they're completely utter fucking psychopaths. And I think you'll find that a very, very small percentage of the population are psychopathic. So people, 9 times out of 10, when they commit crimes, obviously I'm not including like sex crimes and things in this. I'm including, drug dealing, burglary, robbery. It's to do with money, to do with their financial situation. They need money, they want to survive, they go and do it. Obviously this is small time criminals, not big organised gangs and things like that, not mobsters. This is small time, criminals. They're working class, they're desperate, they probably just lost their job. And then again, you could demonise these people and say, oh well, they're just scroungers, one need to get a job. Over the last 8 years of Tory austerity, we have seen so many cutbacks. It is nigh on impossible to get a job, at least one that is sustainable, one that helps you to live. I remind you that most people on benefits are working. Most benefits claimants are claiming working credits, in-work benefits, etc. So we need to stop demonising poor people, stop demonising young black males and people carrying knives, and examine why they're doing it, what we can do about it. In the short term, roll out some policies of we need to give the police more stop and search powers. Yes, there will be a slight backlash in terms of race and racial profiling, etc. But you know what? I'd much rather have a little tense situation where people are saying police are stopping and searching these kids because they're black. I'd much rather have that than have hundreds of dead kids on our hands. So that's just my try to be as reasoned as I can in the whole subject. But that's just my feelings. Let me know what you think. If you think I'm completely wrong, feel free to let me know. If you agree with me, feel free to let me know as well. I'm open to discussion. So thanks for watching. See you next time.